What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio, in the building for another special edition of the show on today, where we are talking about week 8 of the football season. And we're going to be previewing week 9 with a lot of actually very interesting matchups going on. I have Arielle Kilgore in the building. Arielle, how you doing today? That I just realized that. I just wow.
They weren't calling to me. I mean, the SWAC they have matchups that I'm just like, look at, but if you look at the teams and how they're performing this year, I mean, I guess Alabama State, Alabama and A&M, the MEAC, you have the best MEAC game of the week, but I don't see anything that I want to touch just based on the performance of some of these teams that we have covered throughout the weeks. So I feel like I was kind of stuck because you already have a really, really, well, I don't think you have a great game, but I know where this game is going.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go on and hop into our games of the week of last week. So you had Howard versus Tennessee State. And first and foremost, I'm so sorry. First and foremost, that you had to watch that game. But what were your thoughts?
Listen, I didn't know if I had any thoughts just because of what I was watching. You could already tell how the game was going to go by the first touchdown in the 4 minutes done by Tennessee State. And then you had an interception that turned into points, giving Tennessee State that 14-7 lead. We didn't see Howard score until the second half. But other than that, it was really quiet. Howard never scored again. Tennessee State scoring touchdowns and then just ending with a field goal, and scored 24-7. But the game was really slow. And I don't know whether to say that Howard held Tennessee to only 24 points or if Tennessee State isn't really that good and they can only come up with 24 points against Howard. Either or doesn't sound great. Tennessee State only puts up, between Alabama A&M and NCAT, which were their only wins, both 20 points, but they were low margins, 3-point wins, 5-point wins, a touchdown win. And then you take a look at the other teams that they play, like Tennessee Tech, we're talking about North Dakota State and 3 other teams, and these are 30 plus 20-point margins of them losing. So the fact that they won against Howard, they're now 2-5. It wasn't a great win. And I can't really say that Howard did anything besides Tennessee State coming down to their own standards. Because if Howard only had 7 points scored throughout this whole game, and it was majority of the time, Tennessee State is not looking like the team that we have seen in the past 2 years. Whether it's a coaching change, whether it's a recruiting change, it was just a mediocre game to watch. You see Tyreek Starks only having 14 out of 27 completions, 116 yards, 4.3, but having 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions amounted to points. But I just wasn't seeing Howard move the way that they were supposed to, in Tennessee State not looking any better. Brian McNair on 18 out of 22, 174, 3 touchdowns. But when you actually watch the game, you look at the sum of the game, I wasn't impressed on both sides, but I was mostly not impressed with Tennessee State. This isn't at isn't the athletic level that they could play at. I've seen more. I've seen better. Great to have a win and now be 2-5, but I wasn't impressed. And the fact that you had less time of possession at the game, and you're still only able to score 24 points against a Howard team that isn't good this season, that says a lot about you. The game. Listen, we're at the point where, like, we just have to pick just to pick, because I know we have to give our analysis. But out of all the games that I have picked this season, this is probably the worst that I have had to watch and the worst that I had to analyze.
I mean, that's honest. I mean, I don't have too much more to add also, because there's not really much I learned, because I thought I would learn more about Howard and how they would compete. Because I mean, Tennessee State, they're not ready yet. Eddie George left. He took a lot of guys with him. You have Reggie Barlow coming in, I think is an amazing coach. He has an amazing coaching staff. But your coaching staff isn't who's on that field. The players are on that field. And I think that you have to have players that the coaches can build up. I mean, we know Kendrick Grimes is one of those players, but like something happened with him where like, he didn't, get all that many snaps. Hopefully he's okay. But I mean, it really wasn't anything much to talk about. I mean, if anything, I'm looking at Howard crazy because who is this Howard team? Like, who are they? I don't know, because I want Howard to be good. They were good in 22 and 23. They made the Celebration Bowl of 23. 22, they won a share of the MEAC Championship. So I don't know who Howard is when it comes to football, and I don't know where they go from here. I don't think they fire Larry Scott if they don't do well in the MEAC. I don't think that happens. I think Larry Scott should have some level of grace because of him making the Celebration Bowl and winning that MEAC championship 2 years ago and winning it 2 years in a row technically in 22 and 23. But there's not much more to say. I just want better from both these teams, and we know that when it comes down to it, I believe it's going to be Howard and Norfolk State that's going to be battling for who is not the last in the MEAC. Like they're going to be battling for, hey, which one of us is going to be the sixth spot? That's how I look at it at this point. I know I'm wearing a Norfolk State jersey for the folks that's listening and watching, but it's just the truth. I mean, you want to be real with it. So I don't have many other thoughts as well, although I think I did say a lot. Like I did.
I mean, there's not much more you can say. I mean, I'm just the analyst here. You're my color analyst to break it down. But at the end of the day, of course, and as you touched, Devon Slaughter was mostly the receiver the whole time that McNair was passing to, just because Kendrick Grimes wasn't in full effect. But that doesn't matter against Howard. And if they're only putting up 10 first downs, 183 yards, and their rushing was slight. No, their running backs were non-existent in that such. And you would think Howard would use that because Howard's really known for having powerful backs, but only accumulated 67 yards. You see that their offense was stoppable for Tennessee State, but their defense wasn't really movable against Tennessee State. This game didn't really it equaled out. It was an equilibrium game, whether nobody had a really great offense, nobody had a really great defense. And both teams, more or less, Tennessee State has more of leeway just because they are in a rebuilding period. But Howard, not necessarily on the chopping block for anybody, but just trying to figure out their identity and who they are, who they want to be in the MEAC, because Morgan State is rising, Delaware State is rising, Central and South Carolina State are always going to be battling for those top positions. Who knows what we'll see in the next 2 years and what other teams may come along in the MEAC. But like you said, it's between Norfolk State and Howard on who's going to rise from the ashes and who's going to stay at the bottom, because there always has to be one team that's going to be last. And not to say too much, but I don't think after this year, Coach Vick is really trying to be at the bottom tier. So that only leaves Howard.
That's true, and we'll see. But thank you for your service on Saturday, because that was like you did your big one there.
God, thank you for your service. That's wild.
Because I couldn't do it. All right, so my game of the week was Prairie View A&M versus Southern, and I'm laughing because this game and the aftermath of it, Arielle, got so messy. So as you know, I work for Clutch Points. Like Clutch Points is like my day job. And I cover HBCU sports. And there are some days, Arielle, where I don't know what I'm gonna write. I really don't. I'm like, I guess I'll look at this coach's call, or maybe I can aggregate some content from some other, local affiliates, and maybe some national affiliates are doing their thing. Yesterday I had a lot to write about. And on Saturday, I had a lot to write about. Okay. So there's nothing to talk about in the game. Okay. Tremaine Jackson did what Tremaine Jackson and his team does. Like they beat them. It wasn't a high scoring game, but when you watch that game on HBCU go, it was clear that Prairie View was going to win that game. But that's not the story. That's not the story at all. The story is what happened after the game. So after the game, Southern University and really like the Louisiana market with Grambling and Southern, they cover Grambling and Southern incredibly intently, right? They cover them incredibly intently. So there's press conferences. There's a lot of coverage that goes on of their football, especially because, they're blue blood programs. So it was odd when Roman Banks, who's the athletic director of Southern University, popped in to talk to the media. Normally it's Terrence Graves, they'll move on. But Roman Banks talked. And Roman Banks has some very interesting, comments that he made. He said, quote, and then this is from WBRZ, said, quote, let me open up and say this. Obviously, this is not the way we thought the season would be going at this point. We had a pretty good season last year, and we thought it was something that we was going to build on. And obviously, preseason rankings don't mean much, but obviously we thought we had some players in the room that can make a difference. And so truly, it's real disappointing. He added this. My job is to evaluate the process. Does Coach Graves stay another day? You don't make decisions after a ball game. You sit down and you talk about it, because then in the room for the student athletes who give you the best chance to win the rest of your games, and are you comfortable with someone in that room that can do that? So Arielle, that sounds like someone is getting fired. A conversation is going to be had on Monday. So we're thinking, man, Terrence Graves is gone. So just start packing. It's homecoming. Start packing. Okay. But we get to the SWAC Coaches Call. And we're like, okay, this is interesting. Who's going to show up on this SWAC Coaches Call? Lo and behold, it's Terrence Graves. Now, over under, I don't know if Terrence Graves was driving. Okay. I don't know. It looked like he was driving. Okay. he might have been driving home after he packed. He was like, I'm just going to show up at this SWAC Coaches Call and they're going to do what they do. I don't know. I'm not reporting that. I don't know. Okay. But at the same time, it was confusing, because here's what Terrence Graves said. He said, we've talked. We've always had conversations every week. And as I said right now, I'm the head football coach at Southern. It's business as usual. I'm doing a conference call. I'm doing a conference call. He said that for real. I'm doing a conference call. When I get off here, I'm headed to do the coaches show. We'll have meetings tonight. We'll have practice tonight like we do every Monday night. So it's just business as usual. Now get this. Until something changes.
Until something changes.
Then I'm just going to still do what I do. Well, Coach Graves, something changed. Because on Monday evening, Southern University released a statement, and they said, I want to thank Coach Graves for the energy, determination, and for leading the team to a Western Division championship. Graves' connection to Southern University runs deep. He'll always be a Jaguar. He'll always be a Jaguar. This is a difficult decision. I'm crying right now. This is so funny. Because it's so fun. This is the funniest thing I've seen in my 8 years of doing posts. This was a difficult decision, but the results on the field were not acceptable. After evaluating every aspect of the football team, I believe it's in the best interest of Southern's football student athletes, our fan, and our university. And long story short, like Fred McNair is the interim coach. The reason why it's funny, why they had that man on that SWAC Coaches Call? They had him say that. They said, till something changed. Something changed. And he didn't know it was going to change. I'm pretty sure he really thought we haven't practiced. I'm going to do the coaches show. He probably went at whatever do the coaches show, the door was locked. He tried to scan in. He pulled it. It won't open. This is, Arielle, there's no football analysis, Arielle, that I can give you. I watched the whole game. Now I don't want people to be like, he didn't watch the game. I watched the game. HBCU go. I watched the game. I was writing. I was also reading. Like, I was doing a lot of stuff. But like, I watched the game, and it's nothing to talk about. It was everything I said. Prairie View is making the SWAC West. They won the SWAC West, and they're making the SWAC championship against Jackson State. I don't know why people thought Southern was going to win. I don't know why. Like, there's people that was like, oh, Southern's going to win. Prairie View's going to. No, they're not. It's over. And it's over for Terrence Graves. I hate to say it. I mean, it is. I mean, it's the truth. So this was the craziest thing I've seen in my years doing post, Arielle, just in summation. How do you take over the press conference? Then he on the coach's call. Then Arielle, go ahead. I don't know what to say.
No, because in some ways, like, I get it. Like, I guess I get the process of them trying to keep some kind of morality and not give up their secret move. Like, gotcha. Like, we move actually in different directions. But To have this man think his job is secured the whole weekend. Or maybe we know that we don't know that he probably knew his job was secure and it was all a ploy. And he was like, I have to come on here contractually and for them to do what they need to do, knowing I'm not going to keep my job, but I have to say those things so the media doesn't speculate. Maybe he was in on it. I really don't think that, like, if I'm physically, I refuse to fake drive to a place and maybe not be let in because you already made a decision that I'm not going to be the head coach next year. That would actually piss me off. So he probably, but I would hate for him to take it that far to really fake out a drive. And then that's the end of my tenure here. Like that's terrible. But also on their part, just as HBCUs as a whole, I really do hate firing coaches mid-season or releasing coaches mid-season or not allowing them to complete because you think that this may drive different results going the rest of the way. I mean, we're almost done, and that breaks my heart to say that because we just have to the first week of December, which that hurts. That hurts really, really bad. But at the same time, I get it. There may not be anything else to do, but let's make these changes in the off season. Like how we like that coaching episode that we did when we had to introduce Sam Shea. We're introducing all these new coaches. Do it like I love that. Do it like that. Give us something to talk about. But cutting like we're doing players in the NFL in the middle of the season, switching people in their sleep. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. And that's to me more unprofessional than to carry out something that you knew you were going to do and have this man not know that he's going to lose his job at the end of the day. You have me ripping, running around, putting on a face for you, and you're not even going to let me keep my job. That's ridiculous. You knew what you said, and you said what you said when we had that game on Saturday. Stand on that on Saturday and have somebody else take this coach call on Monday. Don't have me out here looking like a fool and they not going to see me at Monday night practice. I'm not going to be there. This is probably my goodbye if you wasn't on the conference call. My bad. Like, that's so shady. You know what? I love a good HBCU, man. We are the shadiest people in the world. But it's so elegant. It's elegantly shady. Like, you'll know. Like, that's crazy.
I agree with everything that you're saying. In all seriousness, because it is funny. I'm not laughing at Terrence Graves losing his job. I'm laughing at the because I know the people because we have people that be watching and listening. I'm not gonna laugh at a black man losing his job or a black woman, but it's just like the way it happened is ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous. We don't have the time just to go on and on about it, but there's a way that you do things, and that is not the way at all. And it was so clear that this is going to be where Fred McNair was. Because Fred McNair had nothing to do with like the firing. But Fred McNair was a coach in waiting from the moment he joined that staff. Because when he didn't go to Texas Southern and that whole entire ruckus, when they were trying to bring in Andre Johnson, and then Chris Dishman becomes the coach, and then, he left Alcorn, and then, they bring in Cedric Thomas, who's not doing well. It was clear that when Fred McNair joined that staff, he was the coach in waiting. I don't think he should be the coach afterwards. That's a whole nother conversation. But I just think that Southern, this is a joke. Like this is unbecoming of a blue blood program that employed Pete Richardson, that has all these the Aeneas Williams and all these amazing NFL players that's come from this institution. It is beneath them. It really is. Roman, I have to say this. Someone should be considering firing Roman Banks. I don't know Roman Banks. I don't know if I ever meet him, if I ever interview him. But this is embarrassing. It honestly really is. Because this is not how you do things. You don't do stuff like that. It was funny, but it was sickening to me because there is a way you conduct business, and this is not it. That's all. That's all I got to say about it. So it was ridiculous, but. We'll maybe talk about maybe in the weeks to come what we think who will be the coach. But I tell you who, Ed Reed should be. You better talk to Ed Reed. They told me to start talking about Ed Reed already on YouTube. They said Ed Reed is done.
Thank you, YouTube listeners. Thank you. That man, that man's never coming.
I mean,
If he comes in, I better see a Deshaun Jackson season. I better see a complete turnaround in that program.
I tell you what, you will see on Southern's campus, the campus will be clean when he comes. Remember, he was like picking up that trash.
He was not playing because not all HBCUs are dusty. Going to Spellhouse this past weekend, you would think they're in, they don't live in the middle of East Side Atlanta. Like they don't live in the hood. Most elegant, I'm telling you, most amazing, elegant homecoming. If y'all hear this, Morehouse, and Spelman and Clark, paying over $50 for a tailgate is ridiculous to me. $50. And now Clark's tailgate, whose homecoming is this week, shout out to all my Panthers, because my sisters are Panthers, is pushing $80 for a tailgate ticket. Randall, am I gonna pay it? Of course. But like $80, well, I could go to any other HBCU, especially the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University, and not pay. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
That's fair. But also, I want to say shout out to Morehouse. They won 3 straight games and they beat Lane for homecoming. Shout out to Nicholas Woodford. He is a friend to my brother. He played for Northeast High School, which my brother, my mom, my dad, my aunt went to Northeast. They made the state championship. They lost to Toombs County, but Nick is a beast and he's been getting some snaps. And I think that Nick getting snaps is the reason why Morehouse is winning. So real quick, shout out to Nick. All right, so and I hope you had a great and an amazing Spellhouse homecoming. I hope you did.
It was great. It's paying for a ticket is really blowing me. Like it's blowing me. But I get it.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna write that down for a topic we could talk about because I have an opinion on that I can't give right now, but I'll write that down.
I like the way how you explained it to me when you went to your alumni homecoming. That made sense. And A&T now doing like paid parking, because usually it's first come first serve, and the parking situation is always terrible in downtown Greensboro. If anybody has ever been to a GHO, and it's definitely going to be worse next year because it's the 100th GHO. But they had paid parking this time, where they had designated areas. I don't know if they rented out or if they pay for that lot or whatever, that people could pay to park. Tailgate's still free. You either pay for your game ticket or you just paid to park. And I appreciate that. I like that. And Randall, I think they took a script out of Fort Valley's book and they had like 2 entrances. So that way everybody, because A&T is an open campus, not all gates like block all roads. So it's like everybody is invited. But they had more security this year due to the past 2 years HBCUs being heavily targeted and random attacks. So I do like that. But you know what I didn't say?
What?
A paid tailgate. We ain't pay at all. Just pay for parking. You pay for the game.
I mean, y'all got the money to pay though. I mean, y'all got the money. Y'all engineering school.
Spelman, the number 1 HBCU, number 1 school in the nation, has money too. But we still paying $50 a tailgate.
But y'all engineers though. Y'all engineers, and like y'all got billionaires. Shout out to Janice Bryant. Like y'all got Terrence J.
They have one of the founding millionaires of America that founded this HBC. They got money coming out of everywhere. I don't want to hear nothing. No, so now we want to defend A&T. After 3 years ago, we was trying to defend why they were number 1. We don't want to say nothing about Spelman having a lot of money, having prestigious graduates, but we still paying for a $50 tailgate. Let me stop because they held out on me that last episode. So let me chill. But like,
yeah. So there's so many ways I would love to go with that conversation, but we're gonna move on to game of the week. All right, so you have Campbell versus North Carolina A&T. So tell us about that game.
Yeah, because you took the only great game. Well, let me not say that because you asked me. I allowed you to take the only good game.
I thought you picked Delaware State, North Carolina Central. I thought you picked that one.
No. No. And you know what? That probably is going to be a good game because this is where we get into our 1 game loss means everything, depending on, and also going into if some odd reason they all tie with each other. Don't know how that would work. They would have to go with difficulty of schedule. But like, that is a good game. I'll keep my eye on it, but I believe Central is going to dominate nonetheless. And we just saw Howard do nothing. And you know how I feel about Morgan State, even though they have been getting better, you know, casually getting better. But that's not a game. So what I decided to do was go back to the home team again for the second week in a row, but I'm not making this mistake again. Campbell versus A&T. We are 1-2 against them. We have played them 3 times since 2022. We have only won since our first entrance into playing HBCUs in 2022. We have lost the past 2 games to them. So now going into this weekend, they have been wide margins of losing. Last year, we lost 7-21. The year before that, we lost 14-28. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot considering that this team came out of nowhere in 2022, whooping up on HBCUs, but now has become this team that some teams can schedule for homecoming, and sometimes this team can actually whack around some HBCUs. I think this is going to be my game of the week, just because both of these teams are in their lowest tier, in their lowest form right now. A&T still trying to figure out their identity, what to do with this quarterback in the situations that they have. Some of the players have returned from injury, but Sean Gibbs is still trying to put together a cohesive team that can score points and not stall in the red zone, let alone not turn it over on downs, which they're starting to have a problem with. Campbell altogether just doesn't really have a great offense this year. Not a lot of superior weapons. A good quarterback, not a great quarterback, but he can't stay in the pocket long because your front line doesn't defend you as best as they can. So they're just trying to work with building players, and A&T is trying to work with finding a team that works well together. And when you put that together, there's only so much that you can expect, and this is why it stays a low-scoring game. In all honesty, I don't see A&T winning this game as much as I would love to pick them, just because I feel like they have more issues than Campbell does. And I believe Campbell will put it together all in all, even though they are playing close to home. My pick for AI is going to be Campbell.
Okay. I picked Campbell as well. Shout out to Malik Williams. So he doesn't play for Campbell anymore. But if you remember when Campbell actually was like playing HBCUs and stuff like that, Malik Williams was their quarterback. He ended up transferring to UNLV, and he actually was getting some playing time there. When I tell you that was a player I wished played for an HBCU, I wish he went like to A&T or somewhere. You know what I mean? But he ended up transferring to UNLV. They've not looked the same since he's left. You know, Campbell. I mean, A&T can beat Campbell. I think they can, because Campbell is not like this world beater. But when I look at their record, I see a team that's been competing in rather close games, and also they beat Hampton. And if you beat Hampton struggled, but I think you can beat North Carolina A&T at this point. So that's why I'm choosing Campbell. But I have no deeper analysis than that. Just go.
I mean,
Go
A&T
A&T.
beat Campbell. I mean, A&T beat Hampton too, but like, you see where they're at right now.
Yeah, I don't look at that as like a determinant in my winning variable. I'll tell you that much. It's not there. It's not there at all. It's not.
You can just hear the disappointment in our voices today from all the teams that we have covered, and it's not good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very, very, very disappointing. Okay, so my game of the week: Norfolk State, South Carolina State, and I'm disappointed in this one too, Arielle. You want to know why I'm disappointed? I'm disappointed because I thought that this would be the game. I'm like, Michael Vick versus Chennis Berry. This is like some stuff that, like, you think of what if Michael Vick was a head coach and Chennis Berry was coaching. You actually get it, and Norfolk State is out of sorts. They're 1-6. People say this. I will say this for the sake of the argument. They have not won a Division I game. The reason why I don't like saying that is because a game is a game, and Virginia State is a really good football team. But it's the truth, Arielle. They've not won a Division I football game in the Michael Vick era. They are on pace with the games that they have coming up. You know, next week they play Delaware State, and you also have North Carolina Central around the way as well. They're on pace to have a worse season than they did under Dawson Odoms. I think that's insane. So I was really excited for this game when I saw the schedule. So I'm like, Michael Vick, he's probably have a pretty good team, but you got to go through Chennis Berry, who just won the MEAC. This game is not going to be that. You have Michael Vick that looked at the out of conference games as preseason, which I can understand why you look at that as preseason. But this ain't preseason. Michael Vick probably should have beaten Sacred Heart. Michael Vick and his team should have done better against Wofford, who had not won a game before they beat Michael Vick. I think that if you start Otto Kuhns, they win against Towson in that first week. But Michael Vick was playing core like, no, Israel Carter is my quarterback. He's made mistakes. And to be honest with you, Arielle, I just thought about this in my mind. They shouldn't have fired Dawson Odom. They shouldn't have fired him. I don't think they should have. And I'm wearing this Michael Vick Norfolk State jersey right now for the folks listening and watching. I have none else I really wanted to wear. I thought this would be appropriate. But like, I don't think they should have fired Dawson Odom. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they should have fired Dawson Odom. Because it's like, if this is where the team is, and we would believe that it's going to be better, I don't understand. Like, Dawson Odom could have probably did better this year. He probably could have recruited, did better this year. You keep Otto Kuhns, you keep Kevon King, maybe. He probably could have done better because he's an experienced coach. This is the Russian roulette that you play when you bring in a coach that's never coached before, because unlike Deion, unlike Deshaun Jackson, he was an analyst, and that's okay. We love media. We work in media. But he was an analyst. This is what happens when you bring someone in off the Deion Sanders was the guy. Let's bring in Michael Vick. This is what happens because he didn't prove this first recruiting cycle that he can recruit Virginia, in my opinion. He got some good guys, but it's not turned into winning. We'll see what he does this second year, but it's not turned into winning. He picked a quarterback, and I know he didn't have a lot of picks he could have made because it was late in the cycle when it came to the transfer portal. He got his Carter that just simply at this current point is not good. He might be better in the future. He's not good. This team is in a crisis, in my opinion, and I think it's because of the coaching situation. South Carolina State is also struggling, and again, we don't know what South Carolina State is. But I'll tell you what South Carolina State is going to be. They're going to be victorious in this game. I'm picking South Carolina State if AI wants to know.
If AI wants to know. I have a question, then I have a statement. Not that it matters, but where is this game being played? Is it at South Carolina State or are we going to Virginia?
It's going to be at Norfolk because South Carolina State is a homecoming opponent.
Like I said, not that it matters, but it's a loss either way. I think, and I know I've been defending down Michael Vick, but I feel like, well, technically, you're wearing an Otto Kuhns jersey. Not Otto Kuhns. You're wearing an Israel Carter jersey. More than a Michael Vick jersey. But, that's neither here or there because it probably says Vick on the back. But I'm just saying.
It says Vick on the back, yes. All the money I paid for it better not have said Carter. It better say Vick. I paid a lot of money for this.
I think he is in his Brent Favre to Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love to Aaron Rodgers, Mac Jones to Bill Belichick era, where you have a potential quarterback. Israel Carter isn't bad. Freshman quarterback, making mistakes, still a really potentially good player that can be developed into next season for next year. But you're trying to do this thing where you want to play your rookie, but this isn't like Falcons rookie Michael Penix where your rookie is actually great. It's your Mac Jones rookie where it's just like I want to put him over my old quarterback and he hasn't developed. He's not really new to this game. This is different from college ball. You have front linemen that should be retired that are old and can't block you really well. That's why he's in San Francisco now. But that's what's going on between Michael Vick and Israel Carter. And we know, and you convinced me now, but everybody else knows that Otto Kuhn should be your pick. But there are some things, and I was just talking to somebody about this, that maybe there is a process that we don't understand. There isn't a great process that's going on right now with Michael Vick and what's going on in his season, and probably having one of the worst seasons right now that we could see in the MEAC. But maybe there is a method to his madness. And I don't think changing quarterbacks, even this late, like how we just said in our games of the week against Southern, this late, what's the difference between really playing Otto Kuhns or Israel Carter anyway? You're already not vying for that spot to go to the Celebration Bowl. Your season is almost over, and your next couple games goes against teams that are trying to defend themselves going to the Celebration Bowl. You're definitely not winning against Central. You're not winning against Delaware State, and this is going to be a mercy win. A very merciful win for South Carolina State, because they already know the position that you're in, and Chennis Berry is going to win anyway, but he has respect not to beat you so bad at your house. Maybe. He's probably the most respectable coach that you're going to encounter, because Trey Oliver would be like, put 40 on him right now. I don't care. Enter everybody. Deshaun Jackson probably grew up watching you, and they're going to make this a game. Chennis Berry is merciful and holier than thou. He's like, just put up 20. Just put up 20. That's all they need to get the statement. They know that I'm good. Just put up 20. That's it. He's going to show some kind of mercy against Norfolk State and the incomparable, legendary Michael Vick. But in this game, I don't see him switching quarterbacks. I do see him getting ready for next season, trying to recruit a little better than what he had, because I think he kind of came in late in the process and trying to do stuff that he needed to do. Israel Carter, or maybe he'll have some other QB options, but I believe he will start next season. There's not much that he can do besides take what he's given them and move on, because like I said, he's the only one without the coaching experience within the new coaches, with the new influx of coaches that we've had this year. So we have to give them this under his belts out of grace and pray that next season will be a better season. But right now, I don't think it matters what he does or who he puts in. This is the season that you've been dealt, and the only thing that can make it better is if you hold South Carolina State to only a 20-point lead. If you let it get crazy, then we got to consider some stuff. But there's nothing he can do. And for AI, if they're listening, I do agree with Randall, and I'm picking South Carolina State. But I don't think there's anything that Michael Vick could do that he should have done in the beginning of the season that would change the outcome of how the rest of the season looks. He just has to go back and be better. Because if Deshaun Jackson comes back next season and has the same winning season that he's having right now, we're not going to see Michael Vick respectfully at Norfolk State. We're going to see him back on Sunday Night Football.
So what I will say is Chennis Berry is not going to be respectful. Chennis Berry was scheduled, and Benedict was scheduled for 2022 Fort Valley homecoming. They beat us like 40. I think they had like 42, 45 points. So no, he's not going to be respectful because we had him for homecoming 2022 at Benedict. No, it wasn't respectful.
You didn't have Michael Vick at Benedict.
But I'm saying like Chennis Berry is not going to be respectful. So I mean, and you know, Sean Gibbs was there. So I mean,
that has. He's not going to care. Of course he's going to beat him. Both times.
Of course he's going to beat him.
Of course he's going to beat him both. And he don't care about that. Going to Norfolk State and seeing one of the guys that it shouldn't say anything. But seeing one of the guys that you probably have respected and grown up watching, and now he's in the same vicinity as you. Michael Vick ain't say nothing crazy. If this was like a Deion Sanders type stuff, like, you know, and we had some Alabama State, you ain't SWAC, I'm SWAC type stuff, more disrespectful. But looking at a man that you somewhat may have admired, watching, and now you get to play with him in real life, like coach to coach. Mercifully, I'm going to put 20 plus points on you. I'm not going to try to make it 40, respectfully. I don't think they will do that. I think South Carolina, out of all of them, I think South Carolina State has the most respect for their opponents, whether they're blowing them out or not. But this will be the most respectful. I didn't say it's going to be like a touchdown game. It's definitely going to be 20.
I agree. It's going to be bad. But no, Chennis Berry is not going to be like, oh, we beating you too much. God bless you. No, because he would have did that against Fort Valley. Because Chennis Berry coached for Fort Valley back in them days, and we should have hired him, but that one got time to get into that.
But you're missing the difference of using Michael Vick's celebrity as a person, not as a coach, never as a coach, but as a person. You're not finna go up to the person you admire and molly rock them and be like, hey, appreciate you, dog. Still love you for all you do. You know, you're not finna do that. All the way. Respectfully. He still has to win. He's still gonna win, just in a respectful manner. Because there's no mercy rule in college.
Yeah, fair enough. And I will read this quote really quickly about what Michael Vick said about Otto Kuhns on the coaches call, because Otto Kuhns is going to be the starter. Mm-hmm. He said, this is a very important 5 weeks for Otto Kuhns. It's probably the most important 5 games of his life out of all the games he's played. So he has a chance to define his story, write his own story in the next couple of weeks. He's already written his story, Michael Vick, like, because you didn't even, Michael Vick said, Otto's a guy that's going to be serviceable. He's got a lot. This is what he said leading into that first game. Otto's a guy that's going to be very serviceable. He got a lot of experience. At the same time, he's going to push Izzy. They're going to push one another. So Otto was there to push Izzy, and Izzy got pushed to the bench. Okay, that's all. So the story is written. You know what I mean? So it's just that was crazy. Let's get to the games of the week. We both have the same picks for our games of the week. We picked Campbell and Norfolk State for AI, because AI is always listening to Arielle. Jackson State Grambling in the Las Vegas HBCU Classic. Who you got?
I got Jackson State.
I agree. And they're going to Las Vegas for what? To have a vacation. Okay.
Literally. They're going to do nothing. It's a bunch of college kids in Vegas.
Okay. Oh no, they're going to TC Taylor and Mickey Jones. They're going to make sure them guys.
Oh, you're going to make sure they're great, but it's still, you took a bunch of college kids to Vegas.
I mean, you know,
why not?
They should play the game with Jackson State wins and then go to the Raiders game. That'd be fun.
Oh,
that'd be really. And then I think the general manager, because I don't want to get her role mixed up. I believe she's the general manager. She's an AKA, and or she's president of the team, AKA, and also she really fought for them to have this game in Las Vegas. This is actually really huge within itself, but you know. We'll see what happens. They should definitely go to that Las Vegas Raiders game, or if there's a game in the area, and just go and hang out. That'd be cool, because Jackson State's gonna win anyway. So Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Magic City Classic, biggest classic in America. Who you got?
You know, I thought long and hard about taking this game actually, and I was just like, no. Let me chill this week. I'm actually very excited, and this is the game that I'll be watching too, along with Delaware State. I'm going Alabama State. Who you going?
I'm going Alabama State as well. This game would have mattered a whole lot more if they beat Jackson State. Yeah. It would have mattered a whole lot more. It still matters. It's still the Magic City Classic. And I wonder, because Ricky Smiley is going to be down there. He's probably hosting his radio show down there. Mm-hmm. I wonder what celebrity they're going to have be like, you know, the ambassador of the week. But this game, I hate to say this, because I think all games have significance. This game has less significance because you didn't beat Jackson State. So, you know. Florida A&M Southern featuring new head coach Fred McNair. Who you got?
I got Florida A&M.
I got Florida A&M as well. This is going to be real quick. This is quick picks for real. Mississippi Valley State versus Alcorn. Who you got?
You know, I hate to do it. I would hate to do it. This game actually scares me just because of how gradually good Mississippi Valley State, for some odd reason, is becoming towards the end of the season. But I'm going to risk it all and say Alcorn. I'm super scared to say that.
You should be. It's Halloween, okay? Like, what can you say? What can you say? People, whichever rapper that was with him, ass checker, surprise! It's Halloween. Like it's Halloween, all right. You're gonna be real scared. Mississippi Valley State. I'm picking Mississippi Valley State.
All right.
Yeah, very interesting. They almost beat FAMU though. So that was a good one.
Yeah.
So. UAPB versus Bethune-Cookman. Can we agree Bethune-Cookman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been loving what I've seen towards the end of the season with Bethune. I really am.
I have to prove me very wrong, man. That man trying to keep his job. He trying to be like Terrence Graves and do the SWAC Caches Call and then say, okay, sir, leave the building. You're trespassing.
Oh my gosh. Too soon. Oh my God.
So we will call campus police. They'll be here in about an hour. Okay, like, so get on out of here. Okay, Prairie View, Lincoln, California, not HBCU Lincoln, Prairie View. Yeah, we both pick Prairie View. Yeah. Okay, we both pick Prairie View. AI, don't mess that up. Okay, Delaware State, North Carolina Central. What you got, Arielle?
I can't wait to watch that game because my game of the week is on Floor Sports, so it's definitely going to be notification after notification, and really, I'm going to be paying attention to Delaware State. Oh, I'm so excited because both of these teams play heavy. They're gonna knock each other out. That's what Deshaun Jackson is known for, knocking somebody out. I was about to say something else, and I can't say that on radio. And I hate to say it, I'm reluctantly picking Central, but I believe this is going to be a very, very good game.
I agree with you. I'm not reluctantly picking North Carolina Central. I just look at the variables. It is their homecoming. Mm-hmm. I believe that they're a more experienced team. And you had Trey Oliver that said something very interesting. And the quote will take too long to read, but I'll just surmise it. They want to push the tempo. So in that MEAC Coaches Call, what Trey Oliver understands is with a great running team like Delaware State has been, one of the best in the FCS, they want to control the game, control the clock. So what he's going to have Walker Harris do, he's going to have him push the pace. You're not going to be able to control this game because we're going to be putting up so many points. We're going to be moving so quickly that you're not going to do that. And I think they're also going to stack that box. So I think the North Carolina is going to win this one.
But that's also a little scary because when Walker Harris does play fast, and we see that in that previous season, he gets a little sloppy. Him being able to actually think about his next movement is the thing that contributes to him to winning. So if you want to push the pace, you got to make sure that all the way through this practice, Walker Harris is ready to move fast because he is not the fastest quarterback in the MEAC.
That's true. But what I will say to that is I think you're right. But I don't know if I trust Caden Bennett if they stack that box, and if Caden Bennett is going to go band for band with Walker Harris. I don't trust that because I think Caden Bennett has the talent too, but Walker Harris is Walker Harris because I don't think Caden Bennett at this current moment is the best quarterback in HBCU football. We know that's Andrew Body, but Walker Harris is right there. So I don't think we ever go band for band with Walker Harris. That's and it's also homecoming, and that's Trey Oliver. So if Delaware State won, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't expect to be surprised, okay, at all. We both pick North Carolina Central. Morgan State, Howard, who you got?
I got Morgan State.
I do as well. Sorry, Howard. I'm sorry. You know, they know we love them.
They know.
Okay, so Western Illinois versus Tennessee State. Can we agree Western Illinois?
Of course.
Okay. Monmouth versus Hampton. Can we agree Monmouth?
We can.
Okay. So just to note, our picks for last week, I was 5-1. Arielle was 4-2. Howard, Tennessee State, we both picked Howard. We both lost. Prairie View A&M, we both picked Prairie View A&M. We won that one. Alcorn, Florida A&M. Arielle got a lot of faith in the Alcorn. Alcorn almost won, but Florida A&M ultimately won. I got that one right. UAB beat Grambling. We both picked Grambling. We both picked Mississippi Valley State over Lincoln of California, and we both picked Texas Southern over Lynchburg, of course. I only got that one wrong. You were 4-2. Still had a great week. I'm 67-21. You are 65-23. So that is the records. Any thoughts before we go?
I'll take it. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
I mean, hey, listen. And we are still, you have context on transition twins.
We are still transition twins. Yeah. I just now realized we both didn't wear our glasses today.
We did. And
you're that in my phone on a serious note.
What?
It says, I'm gonna screenshot it and send it to you. It says transition twin 1 because you're older than me, so you have to be 1 and I have to be
2. That is and someone had put it in the comments. I gotta find that sent to because YouTube when you put Jackson State as your title, people tune in because they want to see if they were gonna drag us, and they didn't because we and I called them the dynasty of the 2010s. So they were like, yeah, he's on to something. So they actually listened. They listened to the whole. People listened to the whole. They were like, hey, he's on to something. And then I guess they kept listening because it got 1,400 views. And someone said transition twins. Let me find it. So someone said Transition. We about to go. Wait. I gotta find it because it was a bunch of comments. Now I can't find it. Someone said transition twins, so they like that name. So yeah, so people watched last week. Watch this week. Okay, that's the show if you really real. Okay, anyway. Arielle, where can we find you on social media?
Listen, I changed my name so people can find me now. You can find me on Instagram at Arielle.onrecord now. Or you can put me in hot seat on Twitter at @AskRiri__, or you can go to my website at ariellekilgore.my.canva.com.